For most people, it's just the first week of April. For baseball fans all around the nation, it means opening day is right around the corner as the season opens up this Thursday. After an offseason of huge trades and signings, this year will look a lot different. Welcome back to Penn State Sports Night. I'm Brendan Conroy alongside Destiny Sanchez and Logan Barandis. And today we will be diving into our predictions for each American League division and who we think has what it takes to finish at the top. I'll start with you, Logan. So definitely starting off with the East, this is a tougher division. Lots of depth and talent within these teams in the division. We got guys like the Red Sox, the Yankees, and the Orioles, the Blue Jays. Lots of toughness is going to be within this division. What does your standings look like for heading into the season?
Yeah, Brandon, this is a really tough division. We're going to get rid of 5 here. This is all about 1 through 4. The Orioles just aren't ready yet. But you know who are? The Toronto Blue Jays. They're ready to take that next step. They're a young team, won 90-plus games last year. And they added guys like Matt Chapman. They added Kevin Gausman in free agency and through trades as well. So I think they're ready to take that next step as they have a lot of guys returning from that team as well. Vlad Guerrero Jr. had a fantastic season, getting second in MVP voting. They did lose Marcus Semien, but I do think that'll hurt a little bit, but I still think the Blue Jays come out on top. The Rays are still the Rays. I think that they always find a way to win despite not having the best roster. The Red Sox made a big signing by adding Trevor Story at shortstop. He's going to play second base alongside Xander Bogaerts, which could be probably the best middle infield in all of baseball, one of the best middle infields in all of baseball. So I think they're going to come in at the third place spot. The Yankees, I think, got a lot worse during the offseason. They moved on from guys like Gio Urshela, Gary Sanchez. They replaced him with Josh Donaldson and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa via the trade. So I think that the Yankees, they're going to finish 4th in this division. They kind of struggled to finish the last season as well. So I think that the Blue Jays, they're ready to take the jump. But I still think this division can pump out 3 playoff teams.
Yeah, you said it right with the Jays. I think that they're really going to be leading this division. But you know, I have a little switch there. I got the Yankees at 3 and Red Sox at 4. But I really think that could move around a lot. I feel like the Yankees and the Red Sox are in similar situations right now where offense, great. You know, I think Trevor Story is going to be the Marcus Semien of last year. But bullpen, still a big question mark. The Yankees, same thing. We've got Joey Gallo, Judge. I think they're going to be great offensively. But again, you need to have like a 1, 2, 3 pitching like that you can rely on, and both teams don't have that right now. Mid-season trades, maybe that'll help them out there, but I really think that they're going to be switching in the 3 and 4 spot. The Rays and the Blue Jays, you know, I think they're going to be more strong in the East, but I still think the Jays are going to be at that #1 spot for most of the season.
Yeah, I think all 3 of us agree for sure with the AL East, with the Blue Jays coming in first place in their division. Obviously, Vlad Guerrero Jr. coming in second place in MVP last year and adding those assets that they did in the offseason. Like Destiny said, with the Red Sox and the Yankees, it could be interchangeable. The Rays, like you said, most likely are going to be in second since they can get it done. Orioles aren't really a question. But now moving over to the AL Central, I think it's safe to say this isn't necessarily the strongest division. We got guys like the Twins, obviously the newly named Guardians, and even the White Sox. The Twins added some depth, but I think the biggest thing with this division is the teams that are going to want to win won't have to get as many wins because it's not as powerful. So I'm going to start with you, Destiny, for this one. What do you think it's going to look like for these standings?
You said it right. I think the Central, definitely not the strongest division. But I have the Twins in first right now. You know, shortstop Carlos Correa, and then I think he's really going to work well with Urshela at third. Very surprising trade. But I think the Twins are going to continue to surprise us with interesting mid-season trades as well. I said it a little earlier in the year on Carlos Correa and Urshela, especially Urshela, that, you know, we'll see how it goes, you know, possibly a mid-season trade. But I think that, you know, defense, for Correa and Urshela, it's going to be a good package deal right there. You know, the White Sox, I think they're going to have a good competition with the Twins. But again, the Royals, the Guardians, really not strong teams. I don't see them moving up much more. So this is what I've got right now for Central.
Yeah, I agree with the bottom. I think the top, I have a lot of different changes with the top of the standings here. The Royals, I'll start out with them. They aren't really going anywhere. I think they're going to finish in 5th. The Guardians, they may have changed their name. That doesn't mean expectations change. They're still going to finish towards the bottom. I do have the Twins moving to the 3rd spot there. They traded off a lot of pieces at the trade deadline. Guys like Nelson Cruz got dealt. And they did add Carlos Correa, but that pitching is still not that great. Jose Berrios got traded at the deadline as well. They added guys like Sonny Gray, which if he's going to be towards the top of your rotation, it's not going to be looking good for Minnesota. I love the Tigers, and I'll tell you why. I mean, they finished last season, they had 77 wins last year, but they finished last season scorching hot. And they had guys like Javier Baez, Eduardo Rodriguez, and top prospect Spencer Torkelson going to make his debut and move Miguel Cabrera off first base, which should be really interesting to watch in Detroit. I think they can get really close to making that push towards a wild card spot. I don't think they'll get it, but I think they'll get really close. And then the White Sox, I think they're still one of the top teams in the AL, both on the pitching side and in the lineup. They had a lot of injuries last year, but they still managed to win that division, no problem. I'm pretty much seeing the exact same thing here.
See, now I'm excited to get over to the AL West, especially because with teams like the Mariners, who have picked up a lot of guys, they could be more dominant this season, as well as the Astros, who are consistent. They're always dominant, and as well as the Angels. The Angels still have Ohtani, the reigning MVP, who is a dual threat, has been since he's got into the league, and will continue to be that way. So now if I'm asking you guys, what do you think that division is going to finish off looking like?
Yeah, I think the Mariners can definitely get really close to the Astros, but I still think this is the Astros division to lose here. They did lose Carlos Correa, but we said this last year when they lost George Springer, and they still managed to have one of the top offenses. They won that division, no problem. The only difference is the Mariners, they have a lot of young guys coming up, like Julio Rodriguez. He's going to be starting the season off in the majors, and they made trades. They got guys like Jesse Winker, Eugenio Suarez from Cincinnati, and they got Cy Young winner Robbie Ray to beef up the rotation. So I think that they can definitely make the push. They won 90 games last year as well. I think they'll be in a wild card spot as well with the expanded playoffs, no doubt. And looking at the rest of the division, the Angels, congrats. They finally signed an arm in the rotation. Unfortunately, it was a guy like Noah Syndergaard who only pitched 2 games to end the season with the Mets coming back from injury. They have a great lineup, yes, but they still can't figure out the pitching. Rangers, they did make some moves. I still think they finished towards the bottom as there's a lot of holes there. And the A's, they're not really in competition for first. They're more in competition for the lowest payroll in the past 20 years or so. So I think they come in fifth. And they still have some moves to make to some guys they can trade off as well. So I think the Astros, the Kings, stay the Kings.
In the West, I've got the Mariners at the top. You made a great point with the Astros. I think they're going to really be putting up a fight, but I think the Mariners have a more constructed team. I think a really big theme with the West is a lot of these games were by run differentials, like by 1 point, like or 1 or 2 points. And I think the Mariners and the Astros for the rest of the division, it's not going to work. Like you have to have a strong offense, great bullpen, and I think I'm seeing a theme with a lot of these divisions is weak bullpens. You know, bullpens win ball games. So I think that the Mariners, their whole roster is more constructed than the other teams in this division, and if the 1-run games, it's just not going to win the division here.
Definitely. I definitely agree that the top even 2, maybe 3 teams, their records could be in the same margin of each other or close just because of how tough these teams are and how good they usually are within their division and stuff like that. So, you know, a close, tight-knit division is bound to happen. We'll have to wait and see how our American League predictions pan out and which teams have what it takes to snag the top spot in their division. Stay tuned for more MLB updates as the season gets underway. For Destiny Sanchez and Logan Barandis, I'm Brendan Conroy. Thank you and have a great night.
Hey everybody! Thank you for tuning into this edition of Penn State Sports Night. We hope you liked that segment.
And we're sure there's other Penn State Sports Night segments that you are going to love as well. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content.
And check us out on social media for updates and behind-the-scenes clips and pics. Follow us on Twitter at PSSN TV and on Instagram at PSU Sports Night to keep up with all the action.
For all of us here at the Belisari Media Center, we are
Penn State Sports Night.